Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. When we're young, we usually operate under this beautiful but honestly kind of dangerous illusion. We feel like our runway is just infinite. We trick ourselves into thinking we have an absolutely unlimited supply of tomorrows to make all the big decisions. To start saving, to start taking care of our health, or to finally book that trip we keep talking about. But this illusion, it leads us to constantly postpone our actual lives. We tell ourselves, oh, I'll start next year. And then quietly, literally without us even noticing, 1 year becomes three, three becomes five, and suddenly an entire decade has just vanished. And you know where that illusion inevitably leads? Right here, to the ultimate universal regret. I wish I had started earlier. It's a sentence almost everyone whispers at some point, but usually only after years have already passed them by. I mean, nobody says this in their early 20s, right? We only seem to realize the weight of time once it's already gone. We look back and wish we had started investing earlier, maybe started learning that new skill earlier, or just started spending more intentional time with our loved ones earlier. The hard emotional reality of time is that once it slips through our fingers, there is simply no way we can ever buy it back. So here's a massive question we all really need to ask ourselves right now. Will you regret never starting or never living? Think about that for a second. This isn't just some dry financial advice about spreadsheets and stock portfolios. We're talking about the deep, emotional reality of how we spend our limited existence. Because at the end of the day, financial stability is just a tool. The real asset, the ultimate asset we are managing, is the time we have left on this earth.
Which brings us to Section 1. Time is your biggest advantage.
You see, we often assume that the absolute greatest asset a young person can have is a huge amount of capital, or maybe a massive starting salary. But the math, and honestly just the reality of life, tells a completely different story. Money can be earned again. Time cannot be recovered. Let me put that into perspective. A 25-year-old starting out requires significantly less effort and way less capital to reach the exact same financial goals as a 35-year-old. Because of the sheer magic of compounding, the earlier you plant the seed, the less water it needs to eventually turn into this massive tree. Time literally does the heavy lifting for you. You can lose your money and earn it back, but a lost decade? No way. That is gone forever.
All right, let's move into Section 2, compounding beyond the portfolio.
Whenever we hear the word compounding, right, our brains automatically jump to mutual funds, stocks, and SIPs. But compounding is actually a universal law of nature. It applies to absolutely every single aspect of your life. Just look at this. In one day, doing a 20-minute workout or reading 10 pages of a book seems completely insignificant. It doesn't change your life on a Tuesday. But over 1 month, that becomes a consistent, unbreakable daily habit. Over 1 year, it compounds into noticeable skill acquisition and real physical health. And over 1 decade, it results in a completely transformed life trajectory. Good habits compound. But remember, bad habits compound too. The tiny, seemingly boring things you do today are actively, right now, shaping your future reality. It really boils down to this. The future is often nothing more than thousands of small decisions compounded together. Your future self isn't created by one massive, dramatic, movie moment decision. Actually, scratch that. It's way less glamorous. Your future self is strictly the product of the tiny, repetitive choices you are making right now. Choosing to cook instead of order out, choosing to save a percentage of your paycheck, choosing to pick up the phone and call a friend. It all adds up.
So, how do we practically manage all this? That brings us to Section 3, the 70-20-10 balance rule. Look, there's this massive culture online right now. That obsessive finance bro spreadsheet mentality. The one that tells you to save every single penny, eat literally nothing but rice and beans, and sacrifice your entire youth just to have a massive bank balance when you hit 60. Well, we need a realistic framework to cure that modern burnout. Here it is. 70% goes to your absolute needs: rent, groceries, bills, the basics. 20% goes straight into your investing and long-term security. But importantly, 10% is dedicated strictly to experiences. This balanced approach ensures your survival, it guarantees your long-term wealth, but crucially, it ensures present-day enjoyment. Life is not meant to be lived exclusively inside an Excel spreadsheet, right?
I really want to zero in on that 10%, because that 10%, that is your guilt-free fund. Financial discipline is absolutely vital, yes, for sure, but so is actually living your life. This 10% is for taking a trip with your friends, celebrating a milestone, trying that amazing new restaurant, or just buying something that simply brings you joy. If you optimize your life completely for hyperfrugality, you are going to burn out. It's a guarantee.
You have to actively reward yourself along the journey to stay motivated for the long haul.
And there's a profound reason for that, which is Section 4. Memories outlast bank balances. The emotional reality here is that a life optimized solely for extreme, bare-bones saving completely misses the fundamental point of existence. Money is a tool to facilitate a good life. It's not the end goal itself. Think about it. If you reach retirement with millions in the bank, but you have absolutely no stories to tell, no friends to share it with, and a failing body, well, you haven't really won the game of life. When you are 70 years old, sitting on your porch, looking back, what are you actually going to remember? You won't remember the exact percentage yield of your mutual fund on a random Tuesday in your late 20s. No way. You are going to remember the trips you took with your best friends. You'll remember the warm, funny, beautiful human experiences that shaped you. Your future self will cherish the memories far, far more than the portfolio metrics. Because ultimately, the goal is not to become the richest person with the biggest regrets. That statement right there, it completely dismantles the illusion that a massive net worth is the sole indicator of a successful life. Wealth is a multidimensional thing. It includes financial freedom. Yes, absolutely. But it also includes your physical health, your mental peace, and a really rich tapestry of life experiences. Do not sacrifice the latter just to artificially inflate the former.
Let's pull it all together in Section 5, Respect Tomorrow and Today. This entire explainer really comes down to finding that necessary harmony. You can't be completely reckless and spend everything today, totally ignoring your future security. We know that. But you also can't be completely miserly, hoarding absolutely everything for a tomorrow that isn't even guaranteed. True financial maturity is being able to hold both of these realities in your hands at the exact same time. The practical steps for this balance are straightforward. Step 1, invest and save consistently. Start early, automate the whole shebang, and let compounding do its quiet work in the background. Step 2, build your skills and your health. Remember, compounding applies here too. Your physical health and your ability to earn are literally your best long-term assets. And step 3, celebrate milestones and travel. Enjoy the passage of time. Reward your progress. Basically, live. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this final thought. Your future self is being created by the decisions you make today. Respect tomorrow, but live today. The absolute best life isn't built by choosing between the future and the present. It's built by respecting both. Start early, stay disciplined, but please, whatever you do, don't forget to create beautiful memories along the way. So what small choice are you going to make today that your future self will thank you for?